Hi guys, let's see if everybody is online. Yeah, welcome everybody. Today is Friday, kind of near to weekend. That's what everybody wait. So actually, in my case, also I really wait for Friday evening to come. But it weekends pass so slowly. Not so slowly. My God, people would beat me for that so fastly, swiftly. We don't remember that when Monday has landed. So, jokes apart, guys, welcome you all and welcome to the fifth day, which is the final, the judgment day of Python to zero to hero. The great opportunity given by Let's Upgrade. Thank you to them as well, and thank you to you folks also, because you guys are really taking a lot of interest in learning as well as asking, exploring a lot of doubts. And today's session would be a little more interesting than yesterday. That's what I make sure that every session should be more interesting at all. And I'll be sharing my screen and I'll be talking about some excited thing also in the middle of the lecture. So just brace yourself and just make sure that you give me your entire 1 hour to me. Maybe for this is the last day, so please, everybody as well. So let me share my screen and can anybody type in a chat if my screen is visible? Let me make a new file also. I want really zero to hero day 5, and I'm going to ask people in chat. Am I my screen is visible? Vishal, good evening. Good evening, guys. Visible. Good. Yes, good evening, guys. Welcome to the fifth day of Python Essential. Welcome. Let's spend 30 more seconds so that other folks can come and we would be ready. Today would be very excited. Let me tell you that, because first I'm going to show you a sample JSON file which I was teaching to another batch, a PGP batch, obviously. So I thought of showing you that what real JSON file looks like. Yes. Thank you guys. Thanks for confirmation. Let me go to VS Code because VS Code is here. And let me show you, this is what a real JavaScript object notation JSON file looks like. And to be honest with you, this is not from a Python. This is not from a JavaScript also. Can you guess this is from where? Can anybody guess? This is Java servlet page. It's from a Java. So it's a Java API. But as I said, JSON is a really a standard way or a by default way of interaction or interchange of a data among APIs. So even Python can generate a JSON, .NET can generate a JSON, even C# or JavaScript can generate a JSON. Same thing is with Python also. All JSON would have looks like the same. The structure would be same. So let me read that JSON first in Python and let me show you. Uh, jQuery. jQuery is a part of not a part of, yes, in jQuery is also JavaScript jQuery both same. Yes. Good evening, guys. Good evening. I think people are now joining. So let me get back to a code editor and let me show you read a file. Read a file. We'll be going a little fast today because a lot of things to cover, because I wanted to make sure that people who have joined shouldn't have any regret that your 1 hour has been wasted. This should be your best 1 hour of your time. So let me read you first. Let me tell you how to read a file. There are many ways, but I'll go with the with keyword. With is a keyword which says that you are going to open a file. My file is where? It's on my desktop. So I can directly do a path here. I'm going to type a tab and it's going to show me a one by one. That's also possible in Windows also. So Windows, if you type a dir, you will get all the list of paths. Users that Kamal said, I'm at a desktop and the file name is sample.json. Yes. And I'm going to close it with single quotes. And what I want to do with this file, I just wanted to read it. Yes. And this entire file which I'm supposed to read is stored in a cursor. So the cursor is basically means an object which is supposed to do something. So you can name anything with this cursor. So I can name it as F, or I can name it as file also. So F is a standard. I saw that I says that please Python read this file and store a cursor as f, and I'm going to say that f dot read lines. There are many ways: read line one by one or read line. And I'm going to say that f dot read line, the entire data should be in a variable called data. Let me read that. Has it executed successfully? Yes, it has been executed successfully. Let's read the data now. We have a data, which is surprising. Not sample JSON. I want that, not the sample JSON, guys. That's a sample JSON. Sorry. That's what I was wondering, that why my JSON is so small. Now, this is the real data, but something is fishy. It's kind of a list. Let me find out what is it. It should be a dictionary because that's what I have written. No, it's a list. Something is wrong. Let's see what happened. Let me try to read it again, and let me try to get the key of web app. Let's see, does it work or not? Because this is the way I wanted to read a JSON. Yes. Oh, it says the list indices must be integer. Something is wrong. What is wrong? Whenever you read a file, as I said in the first day itself, whenever you read anything, it comes, or even in input also, it comes as a string, not in other format. So you need to specify in your, while reading a Python, while reading a file in Python, that this is a JSON file. Treat it as a JSON. So for that, we have an external library. Let me put that in above. There is an external library for JSON called JSON only, import JSON, already inbuilt. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to comment this out, or let me delete it. People might get confused. And I'm going to say data is equal to JSON dot load. Load means going to load it like a JSON. It worked. Now let me try JSON. Looks good. Looks quite good. Looks promising. Let me find out its type. It should be dict. Wow, it's a dict. Wow. Let me try web app. Wow, it's working. It's working correctly. Yes, this is what I really wanted. Good evening. Many folks are joining late. Please don't do that. Join on time. So this is our JSON looks like, and we have a lot of content. Let me try to filter out some content. Let me find out all the keys first of all. Dot keys. I have only one key, but here I see many keys. I have this also as a key, this also key, but it looks like this key is inside of this key, so which you can't get it through dot keys. So may you have wanted to do data dot keys. Now here I see a three key: servlet, mapping, and tag lib. So now I have given that it's inside a servlet. Now I wanted to get this key, which is inside this. So let's see how I'm going to get it. I'm just going to copy this, gonna paste it here, and gonna give a servlet dot keys. It looks like it's a list, because after servlet you see a not a data sign, not the dictionary sign, it's a square bracket, which is a list. It's also possible, guys, as I said, you can have a key value can be a list which is inside a dictionary, which is inside a list inside dictionary. It doesn't matter. You can go to n number of length. So it's a list. That's totally all right. So I can't do the key. I need to find out length of this list first of all, that how many items are there in list, just to have some investigation. I have a 5. Wow, I have a 5. So I wanted to get the 0th one. Okay, I got 0. Basically means I came to this dictionary, because the 0th item is this dictionary. Now I want to get this key. So I'm going to copy this, going to come here and paste this. Now now I'm inside this. This is called traveling, or this is, you can say that this is called iterating through a dictionary. Now I'm gonna say for key value in this print key value, which would be like already displaying, but in a very clearer way manner. Something is wrong, because this should be items. I make this mistake always. Okay, I'm getting key value. This is key and this is value. Okay, guys, any doubts so far? And guys, hope please fill the form also, registration, so that you learn about our future opportunities. Okay, I take it as no doubts. Let me get back to a code. Let me sip a water first. Okay. Thanks, Rohit. Guys, please be interactive in the chat section. It won't take your internet balance. No worries at all. Let me get back to a code. Now my work is here. I see that there are many values which is not a string but integer. So I may wanted to find out all the key value where the value is an integer. How can I do it? Very easy. I can do it if type of value is equal to int, then just print it. Print value, key value basically. And I'm gonna just comment this out. Yes, that's what I really wanted. Let me put some more thing. I filter it out. I filtered with this star, filtered all the integers. Now, what if I want all the key value where value is greater than or equal to 50? Very easy. I can do that as well. If value is greater than equal to, not this, greater than, not this, greater than equal to 50, then print key value. Also possible. Comment this out. Absolutely possible. Yes, why not? What if, again, I'm gonna do a lot of things with this. What if I wanted to add all the values and find out its average? So finding out its average, I need to count how many keys, as well as I need to add in a variable all the integer. I can do that. First, I'm going to find out total values. It should start with 0 because anything, the start number is 0, and total length of key also, it should be a 0. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say values, and first it's a 0. So I'm going to append all. So I'm going to say if it's a 0, you came 200, add it. Now total value is 200. Now come back, you got another 200, add that as well. So 200 plus 200, 400. Third iteration, you got 60. Yes, add that 460. Yes, I can do that. What about this? I want that total length of key is basically length of this. So I want to say that it's a 0. Once you came, it's a 1 key, add 1. Second key, add 1 more. Add 1 more, add 1 more. Let me show you in action. Here I'm going to add 1 because 1 key at a time. Let me just find out now. Now let me find out total first length of key. Anybody can count. That's a perfect 10. And total values. Yes. Okay, now I want to find out average. Average is basically summation of all the item divided by total number of items. Not total values. I got surprised. 161. As easy as it looks. Okay, thanks, Purnima. Okay, guys, let's do some more engineering, then I'll take a minute to ask doubt. Now, I want to find out all the non-integer, which is a string, and I'm going to do some split and lot of things. After we will go to function, by the way. So I'm gonna again write a code. It's good to write a code rather than copy pasting in your start of a career, guys. So remember that. I'm gonna say that dot data, and the first key what is web app. I'm gonna refer to this. So we would be going one by one, guys. That's a very good practice to iterate through code and write a code a lot. Yes, I want to go further inside of this. So I'm gonna type servlet. I get an error because that's a list. So I may wanted to go to 0th item. I get this. Now I want to go inside this. You can use dot operator also. That's totally fine. Now I get. Now I want anything which is not, which is only a string. I don't want to say that anything which is not integer, because if anything which is not integer might be a list of further dictionary, but I want specifically only string. I can specify that as well. As easy as it looks, guys. Guys, no worries, I'm going to take a doubt after this example. If type of value is equal to str string, I'm going to say print one by one and going to show you live action. I was in impression to complete some Mongo, but I think we are running out of time. So I get all the string. You see that we are getting all the string. Now I wanted to store all the values in a list. So total values is equal to list. And I'm just going to do total values. I'm just reusing the same variable. You can give your name, that makes sense. Dot append and value. Let me just remove this print, and I have here. Now let me see what my value consists of. It has lot of things. It has sometime a place, sometime a .com domain name, sometime GIF extension, sometime file extension. So I want all the string inside each string where there is a dot, means .com, .gif, .extension. So I can do that as well using list comprehension. Folks have seen it practicing me day before yesterday and yesterday. So I'm going to say I for I in total values if dot in ice. I can do that. Yes, I'm getting all the things. Now things get little complicated here. Now I wanted to split that by dot. If it's the case, let me show you how gonna split is going to work. If this is the case, dot split. If I do dot, you get list of two items, ksm.com. So I want to split that here itself. That is called nested list comprehension. Very easy, but for many folks it must be looking little complicated. So no worries. Programming is all about trying something new. It's a very famous quote. Let me tell you that quote again. Not again the first time. I read it this morning, so I thought of sharing with you. It says that learning programming, if you learn programming, your only job is to do something in programming which has never happened before. So learning programming doesn't mean that you are ready to do anything. Once you learn programming, you implement things, and it's the first time you are implementing, that's your real learning. So learning programming is really different from learning any subjects. A famous quote thought of sharing with you folks. Now let me do a double list comprehension. This list comprehension return this. Hope that clear. Now I'm going to iterate once again. So I'm going to make double bracket and I'm going to say J for J. It can be I for I, but not to confuse that. J for J in this. Again, it return the same thing and I'm going to split it. You see the magic. Not this, not this. Really, sometimes my keyboard doesn't work the way it should. Now it has split the way this is. Now I want to split an I here, just like I wanted to get the last value, which is extension. This is what I'm really interested. Remember that this has given me all the strings which is having dot, and then this gives me is split it by dot, and now I want all the extension which is always at the last. So always the last value is -1. Remember that the first value is 0, last value is -1. I get all the extensions. Now let me show you magic. Now I want to find out the most used extension, whether it's a duplicated or not. It's a JSP or it's a HTML. Let's find out. Let me save it in a variable. Extensions. It again becomes a list. So if I type extensions here, let me type that as well. Extension. So I wanted to find out extension. So how I can do it? I can do it. Let me show you. I for I in. You will really enjoy list comprehension with me. And I'm going to say that extensions dot count function. Dot count. I get this, but I wanted to get the extension also. So I may wanted to make extension also. So I'm going to say I, and I'm going to save it in a tuple. I know things are getting a little complicated, guys, but bear it with me. Now you see that it has returned me things properly. Com has showed one time, GIF one time, HTML 4 time, another HTML 4 time, JSPs, duplicated thing. And I can do further. I can arrange them in increasing order. I can do dot sort also. Let's see dot sort. What it does is no. Let me make it as short basic. Let me find out sorted because sort basically sort the original which we really don't want it. So it's unable to understand. I wanted to sort by what. So let's see. I wanted to provide a key. So key is, let's see. Can I provide? No. It will get a little complicated. I'm quite sure about this. So let me delete this and let me delete this first. Or let me just keep it so that you folks can keep it for your reference. I'm going to something called magical way. I want to sort it, but anything in a single line. So I have a very sophisticated library in a Python called collections. So I'm going to say from collections again inbuilt, and there is something called counter. Simple. I'm going to say counter. What it takes? It takes iterable means some list. I don't want to provide this list. I want to directly provide this list. Gonna copy this. Gonna paste it here. Now you say same thing again, com one time, gif one time, but no duplicate. Here you see HTML has repeated 4 times again. There's HTML, that's why again it's showing. Here, no duplicate. Now I want to find out the most commonly occurred, the most time of occurred thing. So I can just provide most common function. And I want the on it's returning in a decreasing order because HTML has repeated 4 times, GSP 2 times, com and gif has 1 time. So I want the first one only, the clear mirror. I got this. So what I showed you from year to year, this is called a data pipeline or a data analysis or data engineering, cleansing your data, getting in a format the way you want it. Now let me take a pause and ask you a doubt. Inspiring quote. Thank you very much. Hi, Praveen. Yes, guys, let's spend good 2-3 minutes in asking doubt because I went little fast. Guys, any doubt so far? Okay. Any doubt, guys? No doubt. That's quite surprising because yesterday folks were asking a lot of things. Expertise yourself. I request you to listen to that lecture again because just to tell you, if I start repeat, I won't be able to cover a new things. So uh, please request that please watch this lecture again because we are really running out of time. So this lecture is on YouTube forever. So you can try that as well. We could do eye for eye. Eye for eye is basically Sunny. If you remember that day, you were there, I believe. We were using something called list comprehension. So here for I in list print I, this is the I. You can put anything instead of I. Are all operations for Python valid here? Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And guys, on this, as we have many folks who are telling me to repeat, I wanted to tell you that actually we got a very limited amount of time, and I do understand that for in programming, especially in any topic, we want to go to a depth. So it's not possible in 1 hour. So for that, for this purpose only, as I can't get a mentor for you folks. That you can't have one-on-one mentor. You can't ask me doubt directly or mentors. So this thing really irritates a lot. So for this, in Let's Upgrade itself, we have a specialized for PGP. PGP basically means what? Post graduation programming or post graduation course, you can say. It's for whom? It's for working professional. It works. It's for the students who has passed out recently. It works. It's for the student who are in a college wanted to kickstart their career earlier before passing out. Yes, it works. For the intern folks learning in internship work. For somebody who is working in office but wanted to jump into a Python, this also works. Or for anybody who has started learning a programming language, maybe is in a 12th or first year of graduation, also really it works because things are accessible. So we have a very, very specialized 4 PGP. Duration is around 6 months. The first PGP is Python plus Django. So everybody have heard about Django. Many of you. It's not Django, it's a Django, please, guys. It's not a Django. Sometimes it gets embarrassed. D is a silent. So Django is a front-end library, more than a 300K starts. Same is with Flask also. We are going to build entire front-end, at least a dozen of project using Django, going to build a backend Python front-end. I forgot to inform that we are going to use a jQuery, JavaScript, HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, lot of things. Database can be anything, whichever we say. And for the API, we can use a Django REST API as well as Flask APIs also. Second, PGP what we are offering is in the same line of Django and Python, that is called full stack or a mean stack API. Full stack or mean stack PGP, not the API. Here we are going to use a front end framework. Maybe it can be a Django or a very sophisticated frameworks like React Native for mobile, or Angular. And the backend would be in Python. Front end, again, we are going to use a lot of JavaScripts, Jinja 2, templating language, HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, lot of things. And database can be a NoSQL, like I really love Mongo, or it can be a Postgres like a SQL database, or there's an excited database called Neo4j also, which is a graph database. We can use that as well. Third API, third PGP, again, which we have introduced recently, is called machine learning and AI ML library, PGP, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and some form of deep learning, where we will be spending a good 1 month joint session on data pipeline and data engineering, data analysis, data filtering, data out, because this is really important. Before feeding the data should be in a particular format so that it can be fed to a ready algorithm, which can be a k-mean clustering algorithm, which can be classification, deviation, many things. The last PGP which we are offering is the most excited, because many folks really like that word, which is called a data science, the most buzzing keyword in current situation. Here again, we are going to, as I said, the joint 1 month in data pipeline. As I showed you a very, very shallow example of data pipeline, getting the most common out of lot of extension, which is inside a particular key inside a JSON. So the entire 1 month in data pipeline, data engineering, then we are going to introduce something called data science. Why you use a data science, what predictions you can make, how you can use a data science on the live data like stock exchange data, how to get extract things, how to talk about a matrix, little mathematical, how to use a libraries like pandas, have heard about it many folks, scipy, sklearn, then numpy, then matplotlib, then lot of things. So these 4 PGP we get covered here, and the cost is also not too much. This is around 29,600, the cheapest of all. If you compare with our competitor, the cheapest in price, but not in the quality. If you wanted to judge the quality, you have been with me 5 days, you can understand that how we are doing. And for I have given an opportunity that every day I get around 15 coupons. I believe yesterday also I said the same thing, 15 or 20. If my students uses these coupon, they can quickly get a 4,000 to 5,000 rupees discount for using a coupon. You just need to use a coupon code, which is my name, capital KAML, and then you have some more discount if you bring your friend or your colleague or your batchmate, because if you wanted to learn together. So if you feel that this week was quite excited because you have attended our lecture, are learning something from it, if you feel that really you wanted to kickstart your career, then just spend 6 months, really you would be job ready. So do subscribe or do enroll to our PGP if you feel interested. So I thought to inform you these things. So yeah, guys, what API we use with combination MongoDB? I'll tell you what, Sunny. MongoDB have a very good Python wrapper, so I can use a simply Flask API which reads a Mongo collections and get the data, as simple as this. And last week we were making a project in Mongo using a Docker. There's a good question. Yes, what is the difference between R and Python? Be brave and knowledgeable if it's your name. R is really a very, very controlled, limited programming language. I can't even say it's a programming language. This is very good if you really want to deal with only mathematics. nothing else. But if you wanted to clean your data, munge your data, brunch your data, then R is not good. Do try that, but R is a very limited library, or you can say a programming. So yeah, do we have any more doubt? Uh, some folks have said that I'm going with a little fast speed because, guys, I need to cover a lot of things. But yes, that's why I said that you folks should let me know in a chat box that if what's my speed. Because many times I wanted to cover a lot of things, I got a limited amount, so I need to increase some speed. So yeah, guys, let's get back to a code, and let me show you one more thing, which is I really jotted down in a piece of paper. Of yesterday we have seen something called function, so we have seen arcs and quarks also. So just spend a minute on a function. We have something called sum numbers, just a reiteration, and a and b, and I'm gonna say that return a plus b, and I'm gonna say that use this number 8 comma 9. Yes, we have seen it. Now let me introduce something called object-oriented programming, not in two details, but on the same line. So this function has a lot. First of all, why we use function? If you've been yesterday's class, is because whenever we want have a lot of code to write, we wanted maybe divide into a different segments or a different code for many reasons. Code reusability. You have one function which use something, reuse it. One more example, if you wanted to use a function very time, if you don't have function, you need to copy paste the code many times. If you remember that, that's also one of the reason. Security, a lot of things are there. But even function comes with the compromises. It comes with a price tag. Even functions are not so secure. If somebody wanted to make it vulnerable, somebody wanted to provide 8 like this, yet your function can fail. And then there are some more limitations with the function. So for that, we have something called object-oriented programming. Oops, everybody would have heard of this term. Oops, it's there in all the programming language. I think not C. C is not an object-oriented programming language. I can make assure, but C++ is. So what is oops? Oops is object-oriented programming. What? Everything in programming language, especially in Python, is an object. Means what? It's an object. Means it's a wrapper in a class. Anything. If you type of print, let's see. Type of print is built-in function or method. If I copy this and I'm going to paste it here, I'm going to wrap it in another type. You see a type. Type of type is again a type. So what is type of type is again a type. So type is a basically the fundamental thing. So everything is a class or an object is an instance of the. Everything is class in Python. Or so anything what you read print is also some what we have seen is also a class defined in Python. If you try to get help of type, you get something class type. As I have said, it takes object because everything is object in class. So object basically means what? Anything, if it is not an object, you need to make it as object. Suppose your function and your lot of calculation which you made to do is not an object, you need to make object. So what object has is it has methods, maybe a class method or instance method. We'll see in a moment. We have variables, maybe a class variable or instance variable. Then we have so many things. So if you have object oriented, and then there are some more uses of object oriented programming. Polymorphism, one thing many form, will come into details. Inheritance, if something is already predefined, just use it. Just like you got a feature of your father must have got some features of grandfather, blah blah. So if something is already declared defined, reuse it. Operator overloading, if your function allow you to pass 2 variable, make it in a such a way that it can provide 3 variable as well as 4 variable also. Overload it with different type of variables and different length of variable. Then we have something called data hide. You can hide a data because you may suppose you may don't want it to show all the features of your class to outside because it might be a vulnerable. So you wanted to just tell your user that ask me what you want. That's it. I give you answer and I'm done with it. No further questions. I mean, no further. I'm going to show you. So there are a lot of many things you can do with object-oriented programming. And in standard community, let it be any programming language, using a oops has become a compulsory. Even in your lectures, also in your university or colleges, also you must have seen teachers emphasize much on object-oriented programming. Okay, okay. Now let me show you. We have seen how we are going to make a function. We have seen that. Now I'm going to make a class. For class, we have something called special keyword class. That's it. That's why it has changed the color. If I make capital C, it has become black, means not valid. So I need to make small class. I can write a class name. Many people say it should start with a capital, but it's not always a compulsory. So I say that sample class. It can take a bracket. You can provide an object, not compulsory, but always. Let me not make anything. And I'm going to make proportion signs and enter. Now this class shouldn't do anything. So for that, I have a special keyword in Python called pass. Just going to execute this. Now let me type sample. It says class main. Main means a class, underscore underscore main means class dot sample. Let me find out type. You will be surprised to see that type of class is also type, because you remember that, guys, I said that type is also a class in Python. It takes object. So if you remember 2 minutes back, I said if anything is not object, you need to make it as an object, which is help of class. So I made this class, which if I made this class which can be adding two number, which was earlier function, but when I use a class, it becomes a type, which is an object. I know a lot of things to digest in object-oriented programming, but that's why we have introduced the PGP courses. But just to give you a shallow introduction, I would say this would be enough. Now, what my function can do? So I have something called dot operator, not dot operator. So how I'm going to find out what all things this function can do? We have something called dir. Just ignore underscore underscore. That's a dunder method. Then we don't see anything because this function doesn't do anything. But really, I'm interested in this method underscore underscore dict. So let me just type sample underscore underscore dict, and I'm going to make a bracket. What it says that a lot of things really not interested in that. Then we have something called dir also. Let's try dir. What it does, not interested, because this function does not have anything. Okay, now I'm going to show you a vulnerability in this function. This function does not have anything. So if somebody is using this function, he or she can show or presume that this function has something. Let me show you what I meant. We can say sample dot first name is equal to let's upgrade. We can do that. Very well, we can do that. Now if I try to do sample dot dict, I'm going to see a first name because this has come as a, we have provided it outside. Now I can get static. If I do dot, I'm going to see first name. Earlier I was not able to see the first name. It's possible. Just like the same, I can do last name as well. Yes. No, I need to declare last name is Python. Yes. Now if I say sample dot init, you would say it not init, sorry, dict. You see a last name has also come in variables and methods, not the method variable because we have only variable. If I do dot operator, you would see last name also. Very well. Now let me make an email, but in a proper way. Sample dot email is equal to, I'm going to say sample dot first name plus, I'm going to add at the rate, no, plus some space plus sample dot. I can play here as well. First name, last name plus dot at the rate gmail.com. I can do this. That's totally allowed here. If I'm gonna do sample dot, totally accessible. If I do sample dot, yes. So far, any doubt, guys? Yes, yes, expertise yourself. Yes, you can try to build many projects. Yes. Abstraction also somebody said abstraction means yes, the data hiding. And many folks who are struggling to understand, I can understand your that learning object-oriented programming for the first time, especially, is a little daunting. So you may need to rewatch this entire video again because the first time it won't quickly jump into the mind. So let's see some more doubts. Then I'm going to show you the vulnerability in the class. Do we have any further doubt, guys? Encapsulation is basically means encapsulating. You are putting all the features inside one box, and when you click a box and you ask for a feature, then only this particular feature is going to show. Until it won't show. So this is the way encapsulation. Good example what my teacher as well taught me is you have a refrigerator. You press a key, touch screen maybe, you get a fresh air. Do you really worry what happens on the backside? How AC comes in a form of from a tube, the line, iron line or a metal line, how it works and how fan works, what happens, how it control? No, you just press a key, get a fresh air, press a key, it's done. And really, AC folks doesn't wanted you also to know that press this key, then tell that you wanted to start, then tell that how much. No. So this is the way encapsulation works. In encapsulation purpose is to show what really wanted to show. Don't show everything, which is really unnecessary. Sort of abstraction means hiding your data. Basically, you have a private data which you really don't wanted to change it. Don't want other folks to change it. That's abstraction. Encapsulation means just showing what you really wanted to show rather than everything else. Very, very, very shallow difference. Really, you will learn a lot if you try to code it, then it would be able to make much more sense. Okay. Okay. Any more doubt? Let me go back and let me show you where is the problem. I said that the email consists of first name and last name. Okay, somebody comes here and say that sample dot last name, which was a Python, to comes here JavaScript. What does it mean is that once this should change, automatically email should also be changed. This should make sense. Then let me try sample dot email. It did not change, although sample dot last name changed. This is the problem because I want my function, if somebody change a last name or a first name, my email should be dynamically get changed. But using the outside declaration like this, it will really break your program because you are trying to change last name but it's not changing. Although you can declare, derive many more things from here. Now let me get back to again make a simple class and show you how you can do these things. But before that, let me tell you that there is something called constructor. What do you mean by constructor? Let me show you. I'm going to make a class introduction, and I'm going to make I capital is not always a compulsory. And I'm going to say that introduction takes two parameter, first name, last name. And what it does is it introduce, define intro, and it again takes first name, last name. Not this capital L, that should be a small L because I'm handling with a camel case. and it should return, first it should make email. Email is equal to first name plus some space, or some space would work, plus last name plus @gmail.com, and it should return something called f string. Name is first name, last name, and email id is email. Yes, that's what I wanted to work. Let me execute it. I get some problem. Same thing, you remember that I could have, if I copy this thing and let me copy this thing and let me paste this thing, it will work perfectly. If I try to do, let me show you. Let's upgrade. It works, but in class it's really not working. Something is wrong. What is wrong is, whenever you provide a parameter to a function or argument, it directly understands this is the argument, start working on this. This is not the case with class. Class needs to find out or needs to initialize it. Okay, you are going to use this parameter. So for this initialization, we have called constructor. Constructor to initialize. Hope that makes sense. Let's see if we have any doubt. So constructor's work is just to take parameter in class and work just like we were working with function. So for constructor, we have something called initialization. And if I try to type first name and last name, let me, for timing, let me just comment this out. I'm going to say first name, name, and should be capital. I want that. Sorry if I made that mistake. And I'm going to just do a pass. Again, it doesn't work because what parameter you provide, just like in class you are providing, just like in function you're providing, you can't provide to class. No, not allowed. You need to provide it to function. Bracket is not compulsory. Let me execute that again. Function means this constructor function. Let me execute this work perfectly. Now let me make some space, and I'm gonna make instance, means first introduce student1 is equal to introduction. Let's see what happens. It says it, or let me give some, let's upgrade the first name and last name also. It takes two positional argument, but three were given. I have given only two. It's telling me three has been given. Where I have given three? Because here is the problem. Always self go as a first parameter in constructor. What do you mean by self? Self is a first parameter which is goes in a class, which is the instance. So suppose this is a class, again this is a blueprint, this is a first instance or the first usage of this class. So if I execute this and I'm gonna come here, and if I try to do stud1 and I do dot, I don't run any method because again everything is working properly, let me tell you, but still you haven't made a class to use these variable. For that you need to make them as a instance variable. So self dot first name is first name. I know many folks would be scratching their head, but learning first time object oriented programming will be little difficult, but otherwise it's very interesting. Self dot first name is first name. You always need to do a dot operator for instance variable. Last name dot last name. Let me do this again and now do a dot. Now I see a first name. Now I see a last name. Now let me make self dot email, which should be a dynamic. When I change first name, email should be changed. Self dot first name plus space self dot. Hope you folks are enjoying, plus @gmail.com. Now I'm gonna do that. Let me make some space, and I'm gonna say that self dot last name is this, and self dot not dot, student one dot email. Let's see is what let's upgrade. Now let me make another instance of this student two. And I'm going to say that let's upgrade, let's Python. Email should change. Student two, not underscore. By mistakenly, I type underscore. So let me just keep one underscore. Now I'm going to do student two dot last name, first name, both Python, and let me make some more space. I'm always run out of space. Student two dot email. It's less Python. So whenever you change a parameter, function automatically alter itself. This is the importance of a class rather than a function. Let's take it out, guys. Saurabh, yes, many people, बहुत लोग बोलते हैं, many people says Python is easy, but it's easy. But object-oriented programming, once you go into the concept, it gets little trickier. You know what? There is a old proverb which says that iceberg you see in the sea. So what iceberg top you see? Okay, you understand. Okay, this is the only length, but inside big length. But no worries. That's what our PGP course is, that we want things to be easier, and really if you learn it from a good instructor, really object oriented is not at all tough. It's such a interesting that you would really want it to try more and more at your side. Yes, Prabhajot, init is a constructor, that's a special keyword. Saurav, it's up to you. I like, in my career, older time I started with C. So it's up to you. You can start with Python or JavaScript, anything. Sunny, class and template. Template is basically JavaScript, or maybe you are talking about HTML templates. We use a class instead of function because class is the only, in object-oriented programming, we use class. We don't use a function. We use a function inside a class. That's called a method. We have a class method or instance method, which is a little advanced. Folks are asking, when did I start this stream? This Monday. Today is the last and fifth day. That's why I was encouraging folks to attend as much as possible. Yes, Indranil Das, if you attend all the lecture, you would be entitled to get a certificate. Okay. Guys, some more doubts. I wanted to cover a lot of things. Really, I love, but time won't be permitting. So I'm spending last 5-10 minutes just to see if we have any doubts. Rohit, good, but you need to complete all to get a certificate, I would say. I think Dinesh, you need to participate in all the days, as our host is saying, to get entitled for the certificate. So guys, any more doubts? Let's see some more doubts. Please fire away. It's not matter what your doubt is. Just fire away. That's all at what your doubt is. I'll try to answer if I have the answer. Sunny, have a questionnaire where algorithm comes into a play while making a project. Anything which you write, even adding a two function, is called algorithm. So algorithm is a paradigm. It basically means a structure of your program, what you're going to write a program. Before that, you write in a piece of paper or in some designing software. I'm going to take input, going to check this, going to do this, going to do that, which is independent of any programming language. So this is called algorithm. But algorithms, as I would say, not uses. Algorithm is the entire thing in programming language, which you would be seeing later in the courses. And guys, one thing I wanted to message you, that hope that in the entire 5 days, Monday to Friday, you folks were able to understand the basic of Python, and hope that you have enjoyed my teaching. And as I have said, if you really wanted to make a career or wanted to shift your career, wanted to start career, upgrade, update it, please do consider joining our PGP courses. The cost is really not too much, and you won't be discouraged. And if you really feel that really you wanted to go ahead with programming, do think about that. There is no force, but we have a concept in Let's Upgrade that we wanted to make student ready in 6 months. So that's the a religion we are following here. So if you really have enjoyed the teaching, just inquire about it, that what things we are covering there, all the syllabus, everything would be available there. And I'd like to thank you everybody who has bared the entire 5 days and have spent the time with me, and hope that you folks have enjoyed my learning. Let's meet next time. Thank you for your time, and do good take good care of yourself, be safe, and good luck to your career. Thank you very much, guys.